campaign of a grand strategy game and lose, and then be like, "Oh, I think I understand now," and then like start again, like
Yeah.
20 hours later.
One of the newest strategy games I got is Stellaris. I played a game with a friend, and I got completely and utterly screwed over. Because
Oh no.
I was an expansion-based race, I was completely and utterly surrounded by every single other person.
Oh no.
That sucks.
Yep, and I tried to expand, and people got mad at me for expanding, and they sent things that I had no hope of beating.
Yeah, I have a friend who is very, very into grand strategy games, and he keeps trying to recommend games to me, and I just keep sucking at them. So, eventually I do have to pick up Hearts of Iron, because apparently that one's much more, I don't want to say forgiving, but he's telling me that it is forgiving in areas that I apparently suck at, so.
Oh, that's good.
All right.
By the way, we are live streaming to the interwebs.
Cool, and there's Jerry.
How's it going?
Nice
Doing good.
timing.
Hello.
No biggie. I thought everyone was just ignoring my questions about Pillars of Eternity, and I was muted.
Yeah,
Yep, you were.
that sucks.
Oh, you actually have Pillars of Eternity?
No. I was asking whether it was worth getting
The first one or the second one?
the new one.
I do not know about the new one.
I only know about the first one. I've played the first one with a friend. We had absolutely no idea what was going on and gave up after a few minutes and never played again.
Oh no.
It looks a lot like Baldur's Gate, which I never got super into, but I know a lot of people found very, very fun.
Yeah, I've heard that Pillars 2 is better, at least in the early reviews, than Pillars 1, so...
Interesting.
I was just tempted to get it because of the DLC that Critical Role has.
The Vox Machina DLC? Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be pretty fun, I think.
Wait, no, I was thinking of something completely different. Never mind.
Okay. Dave, did you defeat China?
They're on the ropes.
Oh, that's good.
That's what I
I'm
like
about
to hear.
take out Beijing.
Good.
Civ 5 is some kind of crack, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
Did you not get into Civ 6?
I'm about 5 years behind on my gaming.
Okay, that's fair.
So I just played Oblivion.
Yeah, I've been
Good
seeing him
choice.
playing Oblivion, and I've been like, why is Dave playing Oblivion? It's like 18 years old or something. But no, it's cool though.
Still a great game.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Oblivion to this
I don't
day is
think I've
still
ever
my
actually
favorite Elder
played it.
Scrolls.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I haven't played Oblivion. I've played a little bit of Morrowind, though.
Morrowind is also good. It takes a little while, I think, to like get back in the groove nowadays to like play Morrowind with any sort of acuity, but
Yeah, I play Morrowind as a thing that I had no idea about, and I got lost immediately.
yeah, it's not terribly forgiving to a contemporary audience.
So
but-
I got tired of having no room on my laptop screen, so I took my HDMI cable that goes into my Xbox, plugged it into my laptop, and now I have a TV screen that's my second screen.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
There was a while where I was using my TV as a third monitor. Hell, there was a while where I was using my TV as my only monitor.
So does that mean, Spark, if I draw a giant penis, it'll be on your TV?
Nope, because it would be
No.
on my laptop. I'm using the
Uh.
secondary TV to. Actually, I don't know what I'm doing it for. I'll find the reason during the game.
Drag your
Okay.
character sheet onto it.
But I have it closed out, or I just have it minimized the entire time.
Gentlemen,
that will
we
help.
are live to the internet.
That's what they-
Technicalities.
That's what they tune in for.
Oh, that's what I'll do. I'll turn on Twitch over there so I can keep the chat on one screen.
Ah, success. Yeah, my other window. I've shown it a couple times, but it is an enormous. Like I have like 6 different windows open on my second screen.
That sounds like mania.
I usually have like at least 30 tabs open at a time.
It's a lot of tabs.
That is a lot of tabs. I can't manage
Yep.
that.
Most of them are YouTube.
But how do you know
Fair.
where the sound's coming from?
I only have one sound playing at a time.
You're not playing them all at once?
No, that would be silly.
Man, that just reminded me, just real quick before we start the game, there was this one time I was playing in my friend's D&D game, and he had us fighting like a giant gibbering mouth there, and we were using Roll20, and like to simulate the like chaotic whisperings in our head, he like over the course of the battle, he just turned on more and more music tracks that all like overlapped and clashed with each other. It was a great idea. Like it was sick.
You
I
can
love
do
it.
that.
That's awesome.
You can do that in the Dagon jukebox too, and you can just have like 7 or 8 different tracks playing. And if you're not paying attention, I've done that before by accident.
Okay, are we ready to
I am.
roll?
Let's rock and roll.
Spark and Dave, you guys good?
I'm good.
I am apparently somehow updating my drivers. What's going on?
Is that interrupting your ability to enjoy tabletop-based role-playing games?
As long as I don't get 50 notifications to restart my computer, I should be all right.
Okay, lovely. If you
Okay.
just disappear into the void, we'll understand.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so,
I realized something at the end of the last game.
okay.
We were supposed to be stealthy. Ragnar shouted, "Be gone," to a crowd of people.
Oh my god, that's right.
Yeah, I think there's a few things that have compromised your stealth.
You know,
But it's the festival, who cares, right?
We're just like, come at me, bro.
I mean,
Honestly,
there
just
was
Hold me back.
compromising
there was yet another fight in the middle of town. That I feel like that's the distraction enough.
In civil
Yeah.
shop, no less.
Yeah, I mean, they found you even when you like weren't like trying to be stealthy, so I don't know.
so
Who
all
am
I'm hearing
who am I to
is-
say?
All I'm hearing is "fuck it, throw caution to the wind." Let's
Let's
as-
burn the city down.
as Rock would say.
I have 21 max hit points. Let's not.
We're probably going to let you rest.
Remember,
That's 8
we
hours.
only have like a few hours until the masquerade.
Nope, we
And
have a
it's
few
8
hours
hours
we need
for
to
a
go
long
to the
rest.
tickets.
That's true.
And as mentioned before, most masquerade balls are at night.
Yeah, but it's the middle of the day. I would have to sleep 8 hours.
Yep. So hopefully we have 8 hours. We're basically taking you to bed.
Okay, let us start the game proper. So, when last we left our heroes, it was the day of the festival, the Midsummer Festival in Valdore, the city of love and stars. The city is basically chaos today, like the best kind of chaos. The kind of chaos that comes with too much wine and not enough, well, just too much wine. Last time party was interrogating Sybil a bit about the nature of her strange powers, and then you took a while to start sort of spitballing some ideas about how you're going to take down the foul Carmen de la Guerra. Through that, the party went to go talk to Al, Faint's old smuggling contact, and you're able to eventually get Al to agree to give you invitations to the masquerade ball that Lord Krenel is throwing this evening. You have good information from Al that suggests that Carmen de la Guerra will be at this ball, and that, I don't know, you could do whatever you want, basically. After this, Sybil thought it prudent to check on her shop. to see how that was faring. And there was this whole debacle with a book where the original book was stolen, but then Sybil had a copy. Yes, a debuckle. Get inspiration, Spark.
I already have it.
Well, gotta get you using it more. Right. The copy of the book was doing the whole Tom Riddle thing, saying a bunch of mean stuff to Sybil, calling her a fool and threatening her with bodily harm. When you tried to destroy the book, a terrible wraith came out, and it inflicted a grievous wound upon Sybil, draining her of her life energy. Though you were able to defeat it, not soon after. So you have retired back to the Windblown Wanderer, the inn that Jack got you rooms at, ostensibly to let you lay low, but that's fine.
We are not the best at laying low.
As most good adventurers, I think. So it's like the middle of the day, around, I'd say like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. If you are interested in resting, Sybil, I will use my benevolent powers as Dungeon Master. If you wanted to do nothing before the ball but rest, you can make like a Constitution save to sort of like do the rest in like 6 hours.
All right. I mean, she's gonna rest regardless. She passed out as they left.
Mm-hmm.
Question: if Ratna is basically helping watch over her, can he assist?
Sure, yeah, you can have advantage on this Constitution save. How do you assist, Ragnar?
Basically, being there and helping rest.
Okay,
Quietness. Should I roll a medicine check?
Sure, yeah, sure. Medicine.
Ignore the charisma save. I did not mean to do that.
Okay, yeah, I think it's like DC 10. You've probably dealt with this sort of thing a lot in your time in the church, so it's pretty easy to assist someone. You put like a cloth on her head and stuff. 13. I think this is just enough, I think. So until you go get the tickets from Al, Sybil is bedridden, but I would say that at the end of this, you would have all your hit points back.
Yay!
Cool.
Back up to 38, guys.
So, is there anything that anybody wants to do in the intervening hours before you go get your invitations, your forged invitations?
Jerry will just sort of be watching the traffic go by the window and just be on the lookout.
So it's really not so much traffic as it is like a Mardi Gras that just doesn't stop.
So basically, he's just looking on at the revelers and is sort of conspicuously not partaking in the reveling.
There is, after a while, Jerry, of you staring at the window, I think there's a moment where a couple of like costumed ladies, they pass the window, but they catch your eye, and they sort of like giggle, and then moments later you find them inside the Windblown Wanderer, looking around for you.
I'm gonna try and duck out of there.
Okay, give me a stealth. 9 stealth. So you go to duck out, but they just manage to see you. They go, "Oh, there he is!" And they rush over to you, and they sort of like back you into a corner.
I'll just sort of say, there, who is?
And they say, "Well, that's what we came in to find out. You were just in the window looking so broody."
Uh, uh, just a bit on my mind today. Nothing to. I wouldn't call it broody per se.
And they sort of look at each other. They're wearing big, like, big frivolous bird costumes.
Hey there, welcome to Chat
Big,
Spark.
like multi-feathered, multicolored feathered, gowns and like big fake wings and stuff. And they say, "You know, Mr. Windowsill, they say it's bad luck to spend the night of the Midsummer Festival alone."
Well, you two are together, so I guess you're in good luck.
I mean, technically not inaccurate. So they just sort of like look at each other like, he was cute, but he's obviously not interested. So they sort of like turn to go.
And Jerry will just sort of like sigh of relief that he didn't his monkly vows were not tested in this situation.
Wonderful. Anything else anybody wants to do?
I think, excuse me, after seeing that interaction, Bastion would go up and is just like, maybe it's better if you catch the, watch the crowds out through an angle, and he'll, like, motion over to a corner near where he was sitting, kind of, like, more out of the way, where it's not, directly in, like, line of sight. And all the while giving him, like, eyebrow waggles, like,
Yeah, I think Bastion, you're onto something with that one, and he'll just follow your lead and walk over with you. Bastion, you have any idea what that? I mean, this is so far beyond anything I've experienced. What was going on with that book?
You know, I've actually spent a little while thinking about that.
It
So-
feels like a whole week I've been thinking about it.
Honestly, an eternity, basically. And so, you know that Vermin Kane guy that we met down in the slave pits? Well, I think it was his book. At least that's kind of the conclusion that I'm drawing. He seemed to be pretty... I was getting a lot of magic just radiating off of him. Just raw power. Something like that maybe could have created, I don't know, something like that book. If not that, then I don't know.
It's a strange thing side by side. Just the normalcy of all the revelry, and then this dark magic sort of infiltrating the underbelly of the city. It's do you think there's a connection between Vermin Kane and this De La Huerta?
I mean, it's possible. I think his name keeps popping up, and I think he just kind of has a hand in everything in the city right now. Or at least he's trying to have a hand in everything in the city. So, if nothing else, they're just a couple different threads that touch each other every now and then.
Yeah, it's a fine line between coincidence and serendipity, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on, though.
And Jerry will take Bastion's advice and try and look less like an emo sore thumb sticking out, and sort of nurse a beer.
Which is free on the day of the festival.
Yes.
That's right.
Cool. I don't think anything super untoward happens in the intervening hours. So you guys casually watch the festival rage on outside from your little corner of the pub, talking about the dark things you have seen. And like you said, I do really like the juxtaposition of like the crazy, loud, vibrant festival and you guys sort of in this like darker corner. So the sun starts to go down, and the appointed time when Al said he would have your invitations inches closer and closer.
And what time was that, DM?
So that time, he definitely told you that the masquerade was to start around 10 in the evening, and that he would have your invitations around 9.
10 and 9. All right. Good deal.
Cool. So excuse me.
Oh, I got really confused because I burped with my mic muted, and at the same time you said "excuse me," so I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, sorry. I had a pretty nasty chest thing this week, so I'm still getting over that. So before heading out, Bastion will check in with Rachna and Elle and make sure everything is okay.
Would Rachna been with her the entire time?
Yep.
Okay, I just want to know.
I imagine that Bastion and, I don't know, I don't want to speak for Jerry, but possibly Jerry have been taking turns kind of checking in every hour or so, making sure, if you need anything.
Yep, that sounds good.
Cool. But yeah, Bastion is going to check in and is just like, well, it's about time to go pick up our invitations. How is Elle holding up?
Aaron?
She seems to be recovering well.
He will nod.
That's good. Are you gonna stay here while we go run and grab the invitations?
Yes. If anything bad happens, yell loud enough for me to hear.
So just a quick
Correction.
logistical note.
When something bad happens.
So just a quick logistical note about like this city and stuff. It'll take you. So if you get the invitations at 9, it would take you more than an hour to go back down the city, get rocking, and then go back up for the masquerade. So if you did that, you would arrive late to the masquerade, which is maybe fine for you, but I just want to let you know.
That probably, logistically speaking, would it be, given the kind of social politics of Valdore, would it be better to slip in kind of, low-key, unnoticed with a crowd if we arrive, and like blend in with a crowd, if we arrived on time or a little bit later?
So I think it's probably quite complex, and like the ritual of arriving at big events like this is has so much nuance to it if you're really like in that scene.
Right.
Like typically, if you were actually invited, you would want to make like the most ostentatious entrance possible, and there's like a really tight window of being fashionably late versus being actually late. So you sort of get everyone arriving within like minutes of each other, all trying to make the biggest show. But for you guys, you don't really have noble names that people would recognize. So I think it would be better for you. It would make less of a scene, perhaps, cause less of a ruckus for you to slip in during that like tight window of everyone arriving fashionably late.
Okay, cool. So probably take Rachna and L with us if possible.
I think that would just make it easy. That'd be easiest. I think, but
Okay.
Okay, is Sybil rested enough that she has her hit points back?
yes. Thanks to your great man. Thanks to your aid, Rachna, and from some strange like fortitude that Sybil has managed to summon. She has shaken off the wound given to her by the wraith, and the color has
is
returned to her
Sybil awake?
cheeks. I would say so.
I'm
Unless
gonna look
Spark
at her.
decrees otherwise.
Are you feeling well enough to leave?
She'd probably have her back to everyone. And she'd kind of sit up. And does the room have a window?
Yes.
Okay, would it be by the bed?
Sure.
Okay, so as she like kind of looks up, she looks out, sees that it's gotten later in the evening. Oh, what time is it? Still looking out the window, trying to figure that out.
It's about time for us to go pick up the invitations. So 8:30-ish.
Oh, jeez, I've been out for 6 hours.
Well, you took
Yeah.
a fairly nasty hit.
Did I? Like, she kind of like looks, kind of looks around, still with her back to you, and just kind of like does the thing like, oh my, hey, you mentioned it in my head, and she like reaches up, she'll touch the side of her face. Oh no. None of you happened to grab my glasses, did you?
It was not high on our list of priorities at the time. Why?
Well, and she'll just kind of like, her shoulders will slump. Well, so you know how I'm extravagant and very
Yes.
noticeable already? Yes, well, losing my glasses doesn't exactly help. And she'll kind of turn around, and Bastion's seen it, but the other two haven't. Her right eye is stark silver, where the irises are bright silver, and out of the corners of it, black embers are kind of flicking off the edge of it. It's definitely some black and silver embers are kind of flicking off the edge of it. This is a problem.
I'd say. I thought that was a battle thing that would go away.
Well, it's magical, but no, it doesn't go away. It's partly why the glasses are important. Well, this might be a problem.
Partly.
What do you mean partly? What?
You said that's partly why the glasses are important.
Well, I mean, they
Hello,
do
Crystal.
help
Welcome
with
to the chat. Glad you can join us live this
eyesight?
time.
That's what glasses are for, after all.
Rachna nods.
This is a question for you, Aaron. Is the shop like on the way back? Like is the shop like way out of the way, or is it on the way a little bit to where we're going?
Let us see. I'm gonna roll a D100, and the higher it is, the more convenient it is for you. It's like pretty inconvenient to go back to the shop.
Yeah, because anyways, the shop's kind of like at the bottom of the bottom of the market, and I assume
Mhm.
that we're going up. We're up the town rather than back down. So
Yeah, shop is like down here. You're going up there.
Do you? I know that we have some festival masks lying around. Would we happen to have one that could potentially cover that? Because I'm not sure that we have enough time to duck back down to the shop before the masquerade.
Aaron, would a standard mask cover it?
I think so. Yeah.
It would. Okay.
Or
I
it would at least obfuscate it to the point of people not readily being able to notice.
Okay. So what? Maybe I don't know. Honestly, the glasses do a pretty good job of hiding it. They're super specifically enchanted for that, but maybe at the very least it'll keep people from asking too many questions.
I'm sorry that it'll hamper your vision a bit during the night, but we don't have a whole lot of time here, and this isn't something we can really miss. In fact, with some of the crowds, I'm sure time is already ticking on us getting up to the invitation handoff as it is.
Yeah. Is there any way maybe you guys could go get the invitations and I meet you at the High Dock District? I've gotta go get something.
It may not be safe to go alone.
I won't be alone. I'll be fine.
With the amount of heat and attention that we have in this city, I would feel a lot better if one of us went with you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll go with you guys. Don't just never mind. All right.
I mean,
I'm not going to.
we have a way to go as the crow flies, right? And Jerry just sort of like nods over to the broom. Is that a way to cut some time here? I mean, it's not exactly inconspicuous.
It might be in the festival.
Aaron, 2 questions. One, since I'm a little rusty on this, how much weight can the broom handle? Can it handle 2 people and their gear, per se?
Let us see.
I think it's 500 pounds total.
DMG right handy. That sounds
So, not right now.
reasonable.
Well,
Yeah. Broom of flying.
a thinner girl and a near child.
Okay, carried at 400 pounds.
400. 128 pounds, and then of body weight, and then I'm carrying 81 pounds.
I'm probably something like 80 some pounds, and then carrying maybe 50 or so.
Let's just call it as we see it. You're a halfling. So you use halfling weight.
Close enough.
He's like a 3/4 ling.
Yep. I'm like a tall halfling.
Quarterling.
He's too thin to be a tall dwarf, but he's too tall to be a skinny halfling.
Yep.
Some sort of horrible abomination creature.
Yep.
It's not my fault.
It's all of us. Kinda.
Yeah, so I think it would be quite possible for both Bastion and Sybil to ride on the broom of flying.
The other question that I had was, would it be unusual to see like weird random objects soaring through the air in festival? Would it be like unusual for people to like throw things or fly kites or whatever?
So kites No, I think stuff like that would probably be pretty common. There's like streamers and stuff like that. But I think to see someone flying on a broom, that would be quite unusual.
Sure. The other or how lit is the city at this time of night during festival?
Oh, the party is super lit, my friend.
Right. I
Fire?
should clarify my question. Would it be possible for us to fly above the lights as to kind of fade into the darkness?
Yes, absolutely. Let's just do another quick rollo here. If I get between, or if I get a 6, then it's a full moon. It's not a full moon, so you're good.
Okay. So Bastion is gonna say, actually, I think that's possible. If all right, so if it's just me and L, then we might be able to get down to the shop and then maybe tuck away back into a back alley away from the crowds a little bit and take off above the lights of the festival. Maybe try and keep a low profile by keeping a really high profile. But if this backfires, it could draw some attention. Though the question is, can the bulk of the
Yes, this
attention
is a
keep up
good
with us?
plan.
I think it's a good plan. You guys grab the brooms, try and stay out of sight, and no one's gonna be looking up. People are mostly gonna be looking down. Hey, Aaron, are there normally fireworks during the festival?
So I think in Valdore, because gunpowder does exist, I think there would be indeed some scant fireworks.
So just try and avoid the fireworks, I guess.
Here's hoping.
So we'll Rachna and I and we'll go up and grab the tickets and meet you outside of the ball.
Ratna nods.
All right, that sounds good. L, shall we?
So the whole time that you guys have been debating this, she just kind of has been bouncing her eyes back and forth between everyone. Yeah, sure. Aaron, you said there's a window?
There is.
Okay. She's going to almost like nervously tap her ring on her finger. How high up is the window? Question.
You are on the third story of the inn.
And that would put us how many feet?
Let's say 28 feet off the ground.
Okay, so I'm within 30 feet of it. Right?
Yes, with from the
Okay.
ground. Yep.
So as she's tapping it, she kind of like taps it one harder time. And almost in a puff of mist, she disappears and appears on the street. And I'm gonna take off running.
Okay. This happens.
Bastion is gonna go, son of a, and then just like looking around, and I guess he would go over to the. Let's do a wisdom check on that. Oh, good.
Do we see her at the window? Oh, wow.
Ooh,
Oh, 20.
That's just to see if he would think of looking out the window. Bastion would like look out the window and be like, "Did she like fall or?" and like start looking around.
Sybil, make me a stealth check with advantage if you want to remain hidden because of the crowd. It's so easy to hide.
I'm not attempting to. She's honestly just trying to beeline it.
Oh, okay. Then you see her. You're able to track her.
Okay. Bastion is gonna turn and say, "Do I follow her? Go."
I'd say, yeah, let's follow her.
I swear there's a reason for this. You guys are not just doing this to cause issues.
Ratna, instead of speaking, is going to open the window and jump out.
Okay,
Oh
cool.
my god.
Jerry's gonna leap out, and he's gonna use his cool monk abilities to slow fall.
Nice.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon style, and then take off running. And he goes at 50 feet.
Yeah.
Around. So obviously, it's going to be pretty conspicuous, though. I think for all of us.
Ratna does not slow fall.
Okay.
Ratna falls.
Rachna takes 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
How does...
It's not too bad, to be honest.
Just out of curiosity, how does a heavy armored motherfucker dropping into the middle of a crowd of people?
Oh no.
Yeah, so the heavy armor master, I don't think the heavy armor master would apply here, just because
It is physical damage.
so, but like in the narrative, I don't see how your mastery of heavy armor will help you. Like, if anything, it'll hurt more because you're wearing heavy armor.
It helps me land right.
Land right. I don't. That's an acrobatics check. Here, make me an acrobatics check, and I'll let you use your heavy armor master. See DC 13.
1.
Man,
Oh,
take
no.
take 18 points of damage instead of 9. Only because they're both rolled a
no.
1. Okay, so Rachna leaps out of the third story window, and there's a scream from the crowd below. I'm gonna make like a general dexterity save for the people. So they basically get out of the way. Someone shouts quickly enough, because like they saw Jerry leap out, and then they see like people are jumping out the window, so they have time to get out of the way. There's like a small crack in the lovely like cobblestone road when Rachna like gets up.
And then he's going to charge towards the crowd.
Okay, cool. They like the crowd parts before you. Like they let you go.
Bastion is going to be a beat behind everyone else and just be like, "Fuck it!" And then he's going to grab the broom, hop on as he is going out the window, and try to rise up to a rooftop to kind of get a bird's eye view of the thing, hopefully trying to use everyone else literally jumping out a window as a mild distraction so he doesn't get seen.
Ratna rolled intelligence to see if he remembered to be stealthy. Got it, 2.
I see.
Great.
So just while we're all doing crazy shit, so Jerry slow falls out of the window, and is the crowd like so packed together that like he like lands on someone?
No, I think
Okay.
that Rachna has created a very nice clearing for you where there's nobody around.
So and then I am going to and I know we're not in combat, so it doesn't really do anything, but I'm going to use a key point and Step of the Wind and just make a beeline for Sybil.
Okay. So
Poor Rachna.
things first. Bastion, you want it to remain hidden, right? So give me a
Please.
stealth check and have advantage because of everything that's happened.
Boop. Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Bastion just slips out on the broom very easily. No one notices. Second question, yeah, for following people and everything. Second question, Sybil, are you trying to like avoid them particularly, or are you just like being pragmatic and just going?
Well, honestly, she's trying to get away at this point.
Interesting. So you do not want them to catch up to you?
She is just booking it. Like she might see. Well, obviously she sees Rachna falling, and she sees Jerry floating. And as she's running, I don't know how close they are. I assume since I got a jump on them, I'm a little bit ahead. But she's just muttering, "Sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry," and just like running.
Okay. So I think it's reasonable that Jerry and Bastion would catch up to you, maybe a couple blocks down the street, because Jerry moves like a bullet, though not as fast as Faint. And then
Bastion would be trying to like keep to the rooftops, and every time like a corner or like an alley happens, he would like hop on his broom and like move to the next rooftop. He's basically just trying to keep a bird's eye view on the whole situation.
Okay.
Cool. Well, no, because hold on, because it's at some point does it become obvious that they're going to catch her?
Yes, it definitely looks like at least Jerry will catch up to you quite easily.
Okay, and where have we gotten to in the city? How close to my destination am I?
I don't know. So you jumped out the window, you started running down the street. I think Jerry will catch you like within a block or two of the inn.
Okay, and then comparison, even though it may be absolutely implausible, how close to my destination am I?
So it was pretty out of the way from the inn, so I don't know, it's probably maybe like 20 blocks from the inn.
Do I know where I'm at? Do I know where I'm at though?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
You know this city.
Okay, so seeing Jerry run up behind me, or like kind of noticing that I'm about to get caught up, she's going to turn around and like essentially spit on a spot and just yell out aloud, "I'm sorry!" And then she's going to cast Dimension Door and disappear 500 feet somewhere.
Okay. Do you have to be able to see, or it's one of those things where you just say like, "I want to go 500 feet this way." You just go, right?
Any other spot within range, you arrive at exactly the spot desired. It can be a place. I'll drop it in the chat.
Okay, cool.
Guys, I swear there's a reason for this. I'm not just...
Oh, I'm having fun.
Yeah, we know.
Within range. Okay, yeah.
I have faith.
So is it like Doctor Strange, where like you open up a portal and walk through? Like that's sort of how I imagine this spell. Which would indicate maybe somebody can go in with you, but
So I think the name Dimension Door is a little misleading because it says just you teleport from your current location. So like we can kind of describe it however we want, like the fluff, but I think it's an instantaneous effect.
Got it.
So she'll spin around and she'll just be like, I'm so sorry, and then she'll almost like snap her fingers, and in a flash, essentially in a flash of white, it's just she's gone. Which you've seen her do it once before. You saw her do it in the during the siege on
Yeah, when you went back to get your glasses the first time.
Yes, or no, when I went back to get all of our stuff and lost my glasses.
Right.
Jerry is just gonna huff and just mutter to himself and sort of walk back to Rachna and say, well, I guess the kid's gone.
Did Rachna see her disappear?
Yes, I think it did.
She's probably at her shop.
Oh, hold on. I hate to be a spoil sport. Would Rachna have seen her? He hit the ground, and then Jerry was flying, like super far ahead. So
I mean, I don't know. Like, if you feel strongly about it, maybe we can have Rockna make a perception check.
no, I'm just asking. Would Rockna have been able to catch up? Like, I'm asking 10. Do you think
I'm
Rockna?
willing to make a perception check because I'm not sure.
Okay.
He
Okay,
is
cool. Let's do that.
average speed.
Yeah, Jerry's
Yes.
not average speed. That's the only reason I asked.
Yeah, so like it would have been from
60.
like it probably was like from 100 feet away through the crowd, but he probably saw like a flash and then Sybil disappear. And
Yeah.
Bastion would like skirt the edges of whatever rooftop he was on, looking for like an alley that he could glide down in and not be seen, and try and hit the
Find one.
ground to meet up.
this happens.
Cleo. So I'm assuming that Bastion would like round the corner through the crowd around the same time Rockna would.
And Jerry will just sort of like look around nervously and just say, I guess we should book it out of here. I think you can safely say our cover's blown.
I'm fairly sure she just went back to a shop. Bastion, why don't you go meet her there, and we can go get the tickets. If she's not there, you can still probably catch us.
Yeah, that's probably the best idea. I'm gonna try and make sure that, I don't know, we just drew a lot of attention, so at least I can make sure that she doesn't have an army on her back. I will meet you guys up there. Keep your heads low.
I mean, just
Ragna takes out his bagpipes.
do you think we should go? Do you think you should go after the kid? I mean,
Alright, so Bastion is gonna say, look, worst case scenario, I follow her, I don't, make contact, I fly off. Best case scenario, I stop De La Guerta's people from getting to her before we have a chance to confront the woman.
Jerry will just nod and just say, "Take care of yourself, Bastion. I'll see you up top."
Be safe. And Bastion will turn off and start making his way through the crowd.
Ragna been playing the bagpipes.
Jerry will try and adjust the cloak that Rockna is wearing to try and make him a tiny little bit less conspicuous, and will put on his masquerade, like the mask and the cloak that Sybil had given him.
Ragna does not stop playing the bagpipes.
Okay. Why is Rockna playing the bagpipes?
He was told to be inconspicuous, and they also said that blending in is standing out in the festival. Therefore, bagpipes.
This is not incorrect.
And you rolled a 2 on intelligence.
Well, yeah, cool. I think that's like pretty good justification. I think
23 bagpipes.
That's some pretty dope bagpipes.
Doesn't everyone take 2 damage?
You knock some nearby commoners unconscious with your bagpipes.
That's just them
Thus,
swooning.
that is how Ragna became a bard.
Okay, so Jerry and Rockna proceed up the city to go to meet Al. Bastion, you go to Sybil's shop.
Yes. I think he would try and do so, like, after breaking away through the crowd for a little bit, he'd, like, flip up his hood, put on his mask, try and be inconspicuous, but just make his way on the ground.
Cool. So correct me if I'm wrong, Spark, but when you arrive at the Moonbrook bookshop, Sybil is not there.
Correct.
Okay, Bastion is going to look around for a little bit, curse, and then he is going to try to find a back alley, and after waiting for about like 5 minutes or so, I guess, because we are in a hurry, he's gonna find a back alley. I don't know. That is a good question. 10. Let's roll a wisdoms check to see if he remembers to look around for the glasses.
Because he's the hero Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs right now.
And thanks for the follow, Spark. You're the best. I think if Bastion with the 19 would remember, he'd at least have a cursory glance around to see if he can't find her glasses. Probably inside the shop. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your passive investigation?
Passive investigation would be a 16. It's 10,
16.
10 plus mod, yeah?
Yep. So I think you would certainly find them.
Okay, cool. He would find them. I think he'd wait around for like 5 more minutes, expecting her to show up, and then afterwards, he would probably scrawl a like hasty note on a piece of on a spare piece of parchment, and like leave it tucked inside, like tucked under a board or tucked under a book on the desk or something like that. And then he would find a back alley where there's not a lot of people and try and take off on the broom and do that thing where, you know, he flew up above the festival.
Cool. That all goes as you say.
Okie
dokie. Spark, do you want to say some things, or would you want to chime in just when you, like, I don't know, like what's going on?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, no, it wasn't a big deal. I was just curious whether they'd go, where they'd go to do. So yeah, I was wondering, I assume she gets there fine?
Yep.
Okay, so, she'll enter into her
only after
carriage.
going horribly against plan, Chrysalar.
Expectantly out of breath and everything. She'll rush in and she'll just start tearing books off the shelf, looking for anything to do with like anything to do with anything, essentially, at this point, with about to do with her powers or anything like that. Why, what's happening, like what is this thing that came out of the book? She can't put 2 and 2 together, so she is just she starts tearing books off the shelf, finding nothing really because she's not knowing what she's looking for. She'll twist her pack around. She'll grab out her journal, and she'll just open it up to the notes. Specifically, she'll think about the notes she took while scrawling, while filling, while filling out the transcription for the tome, the original tome. And as she begins to think of it, the notes she wrote appear on the page. I assume that they are as is, right? They have not been tampered with at all?
No.
Okay, so seeing that, she's almost going to calm down just a bit and just take a few deep breaths. Good. Okay. And she's going to kind of like lay her head down on the journal, and I don't know what you are. I don't know where you came from. But maybe going about it blind isn't the best way, so I have to understand it, especially if some more things like that are going to come after me. But that's a different time. I came here for something. Right. She'll get up and she'll go over to her wardrobe, and she will pick out a decent evening gown for a party of sorts. she'll tuck her journal into her belt. She'll straighten everything up, her hair and everything. And then she will probably head towards her shop at this point. Because she's going to look for her glasses.
Okay, cool. So I think it's during that period where Bastion is like leaving the shop and you are heading towards it, that Bastion, you spot Sybil down on the streets.
Okay, cool. So I'll say that Bastion was probably just kicking off, and he'll do like one last cursory glance, spot her, and then immediately drop back down, almost like hopping off the broom mid-fall. Be like, Sybil! Sybil! And then he'll like wave her into like the back alley.
She'll look spooked. She's very jumpy, especially right now. And her eyes are very wide. When you jump off the broom and kind of in front of her, she'll do the like a quick shriek and just kind of like step back, and almost like reflexively she'll like reach her hand out, and realizing it's you, it's oh it's you. Yeah, no, right, alley, conspicuous. Yep. And she'll scoot into the alley. She's very shaken, by the way.
Bastion's like, I'm glad you're safe. Why did you run off like that? We can't afford that kind of. No, you know what? Now's not the time. I'm just glad you're safe. Oh, here, and he'll like reach into his pocket and pull out the glasses.
She kind of almost like audibly laughs every time you say the word safe. And she's just like, oh, the glasses. Oh, thank goodness. She'll grab the glasses and she'll just quickly put them on, and almost like that silver dies back down to the violet, and the flicks of the embers kind of die away as soon as her glasses come back on her face. And she has two eyelid eyes again. And she's still looking very shaken, but she's cleaned up. Again, she's wearing a very... Aaron, the colors are very orangish and red, right?
Of
the festival.
What?
I'm sorry.
Sorry. They're every color.
Okay. So yeah, she's probably wearing a almost like burnt orange dress with golden like trims and everything. It's a very nice dress, but it's very off-putting because she's almost like a panicked look on her face. Yeah, no, thank you. We have to go do something, right? Yeah.
Bastion is gonna smile and say, neat trick. Yeah, hop on. Actually, 1 second. And excuse me. He's going to I know Bastion would he still have because right now it's like bright yellows and reds and oranges and Bastion's bright red cloak. Would Bastion have like a blanket or something he could throw over us while we're in the air?
Interesting. Does Bastion's cloak is his room, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I'd probably have a blanket that you could go fetch.
Okay, so Bastion would say, actually, before we take off, give me 1 second. You look lovely, really. Actually, thought about that in a minute. And he's going to, undrape his cloak over his shoulders, and his clothes are looking, not the best, because he only has the one pair that Fate gave him. And he's going to pop it up, and you are going to, see a, small room emerge from inside. And Bastion is going to, go in real quick. You'll hear some rustling, and he'll come out with a brownish, beigeish blanket. And he'll collapse down the cloak, throw it back on. It's like, all right, I'm sorry to mess up your dress like this, but we can't really be seen in the air. If you'd hop on, please. Up, and the broom will start to hover in the air a little bit.
She'll kind of like, whenever he insinuates that they're about to be covered up by a blanket. Is it like a dirty blanket or something?
No, it's not really dirty. It's just, it's probably not like the softest blanket. It's more like...
Oh. Okay,
yeah.
Are your clothes dirty? I was not paying attention to that. Like, I was paying attention, but it was like, I just caught on the thing that's like, you insinuated that something was dirty, and I was like, that doesn't seem like Bastion.
Well, like, you're wearing a very nice party dress, and Bastion's wearing the same clothes he's been wearing for, 3 days, ever since he got into Valdorian Shrunk.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So,
I forgot about that.
Because he only had one change of clothes.
Well, yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. Sure. And she'll just hop on the broom and just kind of sit there and be like this? Yes?
That'll work. Just hold on tight, and Bastion will hop on the broom, drape the blanket over us, and say, up! And the broom will rise up, and we'll try and, keep it kind of conspicuous in the shadows up above the lights and off into the upper echelons.
And then there's Rotna.
Lovely.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fairly sure he's not hard to find.
Bastion's
Indeed.
delivery service.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, we have a real, I can show you the world moment.
So
For, the Festival of Eldora. It's good.
And then the fireworks start going off around them.
Yeah. But it's great, except there's, this, slightly, dirty blanket over them.
Oh, wait, I forgot to mention one more thing that she would have done. She would have also tucked 4 of the pistols into her bag.
Okay.
So, I forgot about that. That was
Good
something I
turn,
mentioned.
Cool.
Okay, so what's going on?
So I mean, we could just lean into this, guys, and instead of going hey, let's slip into the party, we could make the biggest show of this ever. We've got a bagpipes.
Yes.
We've got a broom. I could do Jerry could do acrobatics. We could just lean into this thing, or we could just try and slip in. I don't know. It could be too dumb to fail.
Too dumb to fail is not a thing. Too dumb to fail often fails.
Yeah.
I mean, not to be the voice of God or anything, but knowing how the people in this city think, if you pulled it off, you'd probably get some mad respect.
That's true. Well, let's... Okay, I'm trying to debate if that's a good or a bad thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this a great idea? I mean, we could have Sybil be this person making the entrance, and the rest of us are her attaché. Sybil's pretty respected in the city, right?
Her parents are anyway.
Okay. And she's the one that's dressed up. Though I know you guys aren't with Jerry yet, so he doesn't know that, obviously.
Yeah. Let's save this conversation for when we meet up. Unless you are having it with Rachna, in which case, chat away.
No, Jerry is just absolutely 100% so miserable. More miserable than anyone. He's I'm going to meet up with this woman who killed my brother, and all this guy wants to do is play fucking bagpipes in my ear.
That's
Um,
a really good juxtaposition.
but he is being polite. He's not gonna tell Rachna to stop. He's giving her the benefit of the doubt, assuming he has a reason for doing what he's doing.
Nope. Do not ever assume Rotna has a reason.
Okay, so I think given the time it would take to get up the city and the speed of the broom, I think it is plausible that as you are arriving, Jerry and Rachna, at Owl's customs office, that pretty close around there, Bastion and Sybil would catch up. And I think it is easy to find them. I mean, just follow the bagpipes.
I think that Elle would be able to hear Bastion just, are you fucking kidding me? As we approach and start hearing these bagpipes because these are enhanced by thaumaturgy, aren't they?
Yep.
Apparently, yes.
Oh my god. Yeah, she would
Triple
definitely...
level bagpipes.
She would definitely... Are you fucking kidding me?
And like, I think there's like a group of other musicians around Rachna too. Like, that they follow the sound and are and like jamming with him.
Of course
now.
they are. Blending in by standing out, huh? But yeah, I would definitely try and set us down in a, like the usual, back alley, shadow, away from lights and people if possible.
Yes. When you duck into this alley, you startle a pair of lovers who are having a clandestine meeting.
As we come out of the sky,
As they come, am I right?
aha!
No, it's PG. Don't worry.
Okay. As we come out of the sky, Bastion is going to whisper back. Just play along real quick.
What?
Just play along. And we're gonna
What?
land and, you know, you said we startled them, so I'm assuming they, like, see us and are like, where did you...
Yeah.
And Bastion's gonna say, "Don't worry, folks. It's just something that we've been trying out for this year's festival. You know, just a trick. You guys, you know, you do you. Have fun." As I, you know, pull the blanket off of us and wrap the broom up in it so that I don't have to put it back in my cloak for the time being.
Wonderful.
You know, just trying to assuage their concerns, play it off.
Yeah, and I think once they realize that you're not like, oh, this is our spot or something, like they go back to their activities.
Sweet. And at that point, I guess we follow the bagpipes.
It's very easy to do so. You find it like about a block from Al's place. You two groups are able to reconvene.
Jerry Jerry will just go to Rachna and just say, "Hey, I'm gonna slip off to get the tickets. Why don't you keep playing here and not make it, you know, let's not make a show of bringing a traveling band to pick up something from Al's office here. So maybe hang here for a sec and I'll be back in a minute."
He will nod and continue playing.
And Jerry's gonna try and slip away and go grab the tickets from Al.
I think Jerry's able to do this quite easily. Like it's easy to slip away from Rachna. He's hogging all the attention. And you find Al waiting patiently in his dark office, looking out over the city from his high vantage point. And when you enter, he sort of wordlessly hands out 4 invitations to you. And, well, I guess not wordlessly, he will say after. I had to call in some very expensive favors to get these. I hope they are worth your while.
I hope so too, as well. I'm sure. Hopefully, our paths will cross again in better times for both of us.
Honestly, part of me hopes that they do not. He just like gives a sigh.
And Daryl just nod and take the tickets and look both ways before heading out the door, and then head on back to Rachna.
Beautiful. Give me a perception check, Jerry. I think you see, just out of the corner of your eye, as you're looking both ways, very prudently, you see a snake slither into the darkness of the alley.
Oh, that's not good.
Are snakes native to this area of Eldor?
No.
So, is it like, so, and this is as I am putting my head outside the door to Al's office, or outside the door to the outside?
It is, you are in the doorway that leads out onto the street. So into like the alley beside the customs office. This snake in the darkness just slithers down.
Is there oh, I really don't want to go dashing after it, but at the same time I am worried about doing anything but that. I'm gonna try and go. I am very indecisive about that. Let's see. I'm gonna go back to Rachna and just sort of make a mental note of it.
Very well. About maybe it's say like 15 minutes later, Rachna, your band has only grown. I'd say there's like 7 or 8 bards who are jamming it with you, and there's a big crowd of people. And over the time you've been performing, you have gained 19 gold pieces.
I am okay with this.
That's over twice the amount of money I got for setting myself on fire.
Well, it's late. It's later in the day, right? People are much more lubricated at this point. Indeed. So, I mean, the whole group back together up here in the chateaus, and there's a big street party going on with Rachna at the center of it.
I think Bastion would kind of... I imagined the 3 of us would kind of be on the edges of the crowd, you know, kind of watching, staking out the area, making sure that at least there's no, like, obvious, how do I want to phrase this, unwanted attention. But, you know, Bastion would say, so, we have the invitations, and we have, what, an hour until the party starts?
Yep.
And Jerry will just say, well, we've got quite a crowd going. I should tell you, Bastion, I saw a snake go down a corner, go down an alley around the corner of my eye. I don't think I'm just seeing things, but
A snake? That's
Ha-
weird for this part of the world, right?
I've never seen one in Valdora. Have you ever seen one?
Not that I know of.
It's something I was thinking about. I mean, we could make our entrance trying to skulk our way in, but if they already know we're here, maybe maybe we take this crowd with us to the gates, make a real show of it.
You know, after the last half an hour with all that's gone on, yeah, what's the worst that could happen? It's not like we have the element of surprise really anymore. At least, you know, we can blow it up, get the crowd on our side if anything should go down. Hopefully it doesn't, but
Yeah. I mean, if there is going to be some of De La Huertas, they're gonna not just see us, but a whole crowd of people. Maybe it'll make them think twice.
that's true. Speaking of making an entrance, and he's gonna look over at Elle. Maybe we should get some, at least a few nicer threads. I think Rachna's fine because he's, you know, all nice and polished, shiny white knight up there. But I could use a change of clothes, probably. Can't just wrap up in my cloak all night.
When Bastion turns to look at Elle, he'll see her frantically scrawling, just like frantically into her journal, and just as like he's talking, she's just like, yeah, sure, definitely.
As Jerry hears Elle speak, he'll remember. He'll sort of look at her and give her sort of a stink eye and be like, "You gonna make our lives harder or easier over there, kiddo?"
She is still scrawling in her journal, and while Jerry's talking, and when you say kiddo, she's going to stop. I'm not trying to make anyone's life more difficult. You didn't have to chase me.
This is the first time he's been part of a group, right?
Yeah? What's that have to do with anything, though?
Well, you gotta talk to people, you know? You can't just go running off. Thankfully, you have somebody covering your back here, and he'll point at Bastion. I was just gonna let you go.
To be fair, I've known you guys 3 days. I've told you more than I've told, hell, really anybody in the last month.
You go through.
just...
Hey, look, you go through a fight like we went through, it's kind of a trial by fire thing. And I know we're in the city, but, you know, if you're looking to go out on the road, it's that kind of thing that you just gotta watch each other's backs. And you gotta, you know, put that kind of faith in the people you're grouped up with.
So sorry. Whenever Bastion's speaking, she just kind of like, she goes back to writing, and then sets her pen down on her journal. 4 days ago, I was sitting in my shop selling books. Then you guys walk in and ask for a transcription of this book. Correct. She's very calm, like collected, and like she like looks around when she asks that.
Bastion furrows his brow and nods.
Okay, so I transcribe it. I provide you with the transcription. And then my shop gets shot up because of people who are looking for you. I understand that. I decide these people seem interesting. No one got hurt. What's the danger in spending a day with them? Within the day, we go to a bar and watch the guard that I've grown up surrounded by, who govern the city, slaughter an entire bar. Just because I decided to go with you guys. So, I apologize if I don't tell you guys everything.
And Jerry will just sort of like sort of like his sort of hardened expression will break a little bit, and he'll sort of look at Elle with a bit more sort of like sympathy and be like, look, I know change is hard, right? And you know, whether you like it or not, just by some coincidence of where we were and where you were, you got embroiled in stuff that, you know, I know you're not feeling super comfortable about where you're at, but you know, if we can't work together, then if we can't work for each other, we're working against each other. At least when it comes to just running off on your own. I'm not saying you tell us everything that goes through your mind, but maybe just tell us if you're have something to take care of.
I did. And then you guys wanted to send a babysitter with me.
I mean, you said it yourself. After you met us, your shop got attacked, the bar we were in got attacked. I mean, they know you're with us. Can you really blame us? We just want everyone here to be safe.
Hearing that,
her kind of like, she's gonna kind of be deflated a bit at that.
I understand, but okay. So have you ever been in a situation where it's easier to just walk out of a room rather than say goodbye? It was like that, except I felt cornered. I didn't know how you guys would react to all of this. So it was easier to just not be there anymore. Anyways, I didn't plan on staying gone the entire time. I would have been right back.
Jerry's just gonna try and change the subject and just say, "Hey, well, your dress looks nice anyway. You of all of us look like you're actually ready for this party."
Bastion's gonna go, yes, and that was the thing that I was going to do. And he's going to say, he's going to be like, Aaron, would there be anywhere, like, real nearby that Bastion could pick up a set of, like, nice clothes?
Oh yeah, I think definitely in the chateaus there's all sorts of like fancy noble clothes stores.
The question then is, this late on the night of a festival, would Bastion be able to go grab something?
I think it would probably take some persuading. Like you might, I guess, like similar to the last time, right? Like, you might find a shop like just in the midst of closing, um, and have to sort of present your case, as it were.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, Bastion would be like, Bastion would say, I think for right now, Rachna is probably fine where he's at. I don't see him being, violently accosted in front of his entourage, as it were. What say you, especially you and me, Jerry, go clothes shopping for a few minutes, tidy up a bit?
And yeah, Jerry'll nod his head and say, seems crazy somebody just living in the undercellar a few years ago to go into some fancy schmancy party up in the chateaus. This is weird, ain't it?
Boy howdy, you're telling me. Just the same way,
Well, yeah. Let's maybe Sybil can tell us what to buy. I wouldn't even know what to buy to stand in here.
Just for flavor, Aaron, would, like, children's fancy dress and adults' fancy dress be significantly different in Valdore?
No. I think the kids, dress as adults and vice versa.
Sure. Okay. Then Bastion would say, "Yeah, it's been a while since I've had to, clean up nice. I'm not quite sure I remember how it all goes together. Elle, would you mind giving us some advice?"
She had went back to scrawling in her journal again, frantically. As soon as she hears her name, she slams her thing shut. She's like,
Oh, yes, I can do that, probably.
Great. And Bastion will head off and try to find a shop.
Lovely. You find one like right down the block. There's a place called the Unicorn's Patch.
Okay.
And it, almost as if fate itself decreed, it seems in the midst of closing.
Bastion will walk up to the door and be like, Sir, excuse me. If you wouldn't mind, we'd love to, buy something from your shop, real quick. I promise it won't take long. We don't have much time ourselves."
And you see a man like in his mid-40s with a lovely trimmed goatee and hair tied back into a ponytail, wearing like this expensive green doublet. He says, "Well, come in and be quick about it then."
"Thank you very much, sir." And Bastion will walk into the shop.
So Upkeep, whose name is Miguel, he will be like terse, but also like trying to be helpful. So like, I don't know, Jerry and Bastion, like, I don't know, just like describe what kind of outfit you end up getting.
Let's see. I imagine that Bastion will go for Let's see. Something more daring, I guess. Bright, summery colors.
What color hair does Bastion have?
Boop doop. What color hair does Bastion have? Probably like a darker brown.
Sybil would constantly try to throw you like green, darker, like multiple shades of green at you.
Interesting. Okay. Let's see.
I'm just waiting for the image to load. Oh yeah. Oh dear God, Jerry. Yes, they have exactly that. That's like exactly what Valdore people wear.
I was
Wow,
going
that
for some
is-
purple high French courtly fashion.
Yeah, man.
All right. So I imagine that's like on a mannequin. That's like literally the first thing Jerry sees when he walks in the door. And because it's literally right there in front of him, that's what he grabs.
Amazing. Miguel sort of like, oh, well, I would not have thought that for you, but if it is what your heart called, then who am I to deny it to you?
I think that Bastion would go for more of like a long captain's jacket look.
Interesting.
Probably like a
Okay.
like a red doublet with like a green a like deep green captain's jacket with like where's that picture that I was looking at?
Hey, Aaron.
Yep.
Do they have a super wide brimmed hat with a pointed tip?
Like a witch's hat?
Perhaps.
So they don't have it as like a as like a fashionable device, but I think like if you brought it up, Miguel would say like, oh yes, we have just finished supplying costumes for one of the latest operas, and there was some extra. So like he would have like a witch's hat in like whatever color you wanted.
All right. So, funnily enough, Rachna made that joke, but her mask for the festival was going to be like a large hooked beak bird. So,
Oh.
Plague Doctor mask.
And Bastion 100% wants a Musketeer's hat because I have to give tribute to this one character that I once played by always getting the hat that, you know, the exact hat that Will Turner wore at the end of Pirates of the Caribbean 1.
yes.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
hat.
Oh yes. Hats of that style I think are readily available in the city. So
Yes, 100% that hat.
So yeah, so when she sees the hat, she's just gonna be like, "Oh, this will work perfectly." She'll grab her hat, and then she'll pull out her mask from her bag, and she will just throw the mask on, put the hat on over it, and she'll turn around and she'll be like, "How do I look?" And then she'll see Jerry, and she'll be like, "Oh God,
I look good, right?
no, you look. Oh, you look Fantastic. And she'll like just beam. She's like, oh, that is wonderful.
I've updated my avatar. I'm ready for the party.
Oh my
Bastion-
god, you actually did.
My god. Bastion would be like fitting on the jacket, making sure it like, fits correctly. And he'll turn around and just be like, when you say, how do I look? He'd be like, wow. You look, great.
Now I know what all these lords and ladies get all jazzed about. So Bastion, you can pay for all this, right? Because I don't really have any coin.
Yeah, so Miguel like comes up and it's been like, it's after he's meant to have closed the shop. So he's like, all of these things is all fairly expensive, and I must have a surcharge for being after the closing time, and also for the festival day as if the extra charge. He's like writing in a ledger. He says, all of these things it shall come to 650 gold pieces.
And Bastion will once again reach into his pouch, grab approximately that much, and probably drop about 750 on the counter and be like, is this about right?
Oh yes, that is very good. Thank you. Very good business. There's like immediately takes the gold, leaving no time for.
That's not how. That.
Oh, that is exactly how business is done. Very good. Oh, thank you. What is your name, young master?
Oh, Bastion Jacoby. It's wonderful to make your acquaintance.
Bastion Jacoby?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this name is familiar to me. Where have I heard it before? Who are your parents, young Master Jacoby?
Oh man, you're making me dig into my backstory. He's gonna say, well, they were Miranda and Cyrus Jacoby, sir. And he's gonna start to look, a little, less bold at that.
When you say their names, Miguel, oh yes, Miranda Jacoby, this is who I remember. She came to the shop quite often. Indeed, she has not been in some time. I hope she has not found a rival, has she? That she shops at.
I don't think so. She's been away for a few years. We're, trying to get back in touch.
Oh, I see how it is. Miguel shall say no more, then. I hope you enjoy what is left of the festival day, young Master Jacoby. And might I say, you and your friends are looking very fine. Be sure to tell all of your other friends they will come to the Unicorns patch to receive all of their fineries.
I will, of course, do that. Thank you very much, sir.
He gives you like a nod and begins counting all of his new gold.
Jerry will try and give like a very exaggerated like bow and take off his hat as he bows, and as he goes out the door.
As he does that, Sybil will run over to him and be like, no, tuck your elbow a little bit more, and then flourish the hat.
Jerry will realize that what started is just him, like he should actually pay attention to what Sybil's saying because of what's going to happen next, and he'll actually try and take a lesson in courtly manners from her.
and she
Okay,
will give that.
cool. Let's see. Jerry, make a charisma save.
All right. That's charisma's a 10. That's a good stat, right?
It's not a
Could be
bad
worse.
stat.
Oh, I thought I
necessarily.
clicked it. Oh God.
Get like a
Okay, so the
100
first
here.
one's a 2. I got a little
Yeah.
bit
So,
count.
so I feel like on
Have
the
a good night,
whole,
Chrysler. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
it's not that Jerry is like stupid or anything. It's just that there's so many odds and ends for like the nobles of Valdore. So many little tiny things that they can pick apart to like undermine someone's stature and like personality, that it's so difficult to get all of the little nuances. But you I think are better than before, but it is a overwhelming sort of like deep dive that could be done into like noble protocol and stuff.
Got it. Cool. Jerry will say, well, thank you, Sybil, for trying to teach this old dog a few new tricks anyway. I'm not sure how much I caught of that, but I'll try my best.
She'll kind of like just give a quick flash of a smile and be like,
It's all right. Just don't say much, don't move much, and you'll be fine.
And yeah, I guess we're heading back to where the party is kicking around Rockna, right?
Yeah. As we leave the shop, you guys can tell that Bastion is more, I don't know, subdued. Like he definitely looks more introspective as we are walking through the crowds.
would this be considered a short rest, by the way, Aaron?
Sure, why not? I think
Uh,
spending the time shopping at the Unicorn's Patches could be short rest worthy.
The only reason I ask is because I wanted to store some more spells in my ring,
Hmm.
but I
Yeah.
didn't want to blow the spell slots to do it unless I knew that I was going to get them back. So.
Certainly, yeah. You can definitely have done that.
Okay, so then I'll do this. I'll do this in game. As like we start walking back, like you guys will hear Elle muttering things under her breath and just tapping her ring again. And if anyone looks, you'll see quick flashes of light, and then the ring like will glow for a second, and then it'll go back. And as she finishes, she looks up to the rest of the group and realizes Bastion's not really as vocal or as energetic as he was before we went in there and had that moment in the shop. And she'll just kind of run up and
Did you say Jacoby?
Yeah, I did.
You used to live here, right?
Yeah, a few years ago. Assuming you're talking up in this part of the city.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
out of character. With Bastion's event, was it like a massive explosion or something?
I imagine it more like a big magical implosion. Like it would have definitely like been very noisy, but it would have been like the house would be like collapsed inward in places instead of like blown outward.
Okay, gotcha. I was just making sure that there was like a visible devastation that had happened.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
That explains why I remembered you. The event from a few years ago that left the estate in ruins was that due to the potato eye magic?
Yeah, it was kind of the first time it happened. I found out I was allergic to magic with a bang. What can I say? Yeah, and kind of slipped through the cracks after that. Yeah, that was me.
Well, if it's any consolation, well, we all have done things that we may or may not regret, and it's just about what's forward, not always what's backwards.
And she'll just kind of look, kind of meek at that.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is, I know that people mentioning things can stir up memories and thoughts that you don't particularly care to hear. But, you were the one who told me that you're not necessarily alone. You can talk all you want. I'll listen. I just may not be able to be great at giving advice and things, you know?
Bastion will smile. Thanks. We can talk about this later. As for right now, we have a party to crash, wouldn't you say?
Yes, and green looks good on you. I knew it would.
And she'll just strut forward, walk right on past Bastion.
Would Rotna see Jerry and the Bastion and Sybil approach him?
Oh yes, I think so.
Okay. Rotna will attempt to not laugh at Jerry.
And
Darn
Jerry will do
succeeds.
his. Jerry will just say, "Well, Rachna, are you going to are you going to lead the party to the gate?"
He will nod and start heading towards the mansion.
Your entourage, which has only grown, I think there's like 10 or 12 musicians with you now. You start leading them towards Lord Krenel's estate. And I think it takes just a little bit of extra time, just because sort of like corralling everyone to get going. And this is sort of like marching band that is working its way through the upper districts. Let's see. I want to roll one more. Like at this point in the festival, I think it reaches its peak for about the next hour, and it starts to die down again. I mean, as Jerry discovered earlier today, there is actually like a citywide ranging superstition about spending the evening of the festival alone. So soon in the festivities, people will start latching on to whoever they can to avoid such superstitions. Rock, as you and your band make your way through the chateaus, I think you would collect an extra 19 gold pieces.
Cool.
What a time to be alive.
Apparently, being a bard is more profitable than being an adventurer.
Specifically, a time
At
where you
least
walk to a clothes shop and drop 700 gold on some ridiculous duds. They're literally just like the Kingdom Heart costumes for the world level.
Yeah.
However, soon do indeed follow follow the path, and you find sort of near Cloudloft Keep. There is not a great manor house, but a very sized. There's a section of the city that's sort of cleared, where to allow the more affluent estates some semblance of like grounds. So there is like a 3-story multi-winged estate base of Cloudloft Keep. There's, I'd say, like 200 feet of like walkway and gardens leading up to the main building, and this whole walkway is strung with magical lights of like different colors that sort of like pulse in and out different shades, and there is a soft and lilting that could be heard if not for the magically enhanced bagpipes.
I am not stopping.
The gates are currently closed, but as you approach, you see a group of 3 nobles. Guards out front present some papers, and they are allowed entrance. The gates close behind them, and then you and your entourage get to the gates. You can see the 2 guards at front are clearly members of the Velvet. They've got the big, musketeer, poofy hats and such. And one of them goes, display your invitations, please. Or
I'm guessing
rather,
he
he yells, display it, please, over the bagpipes.
I look at my invitation real quick and see if it has a name on it or if it's just an invitation.
It does. All the invitations have your specific names on them.
Our actual names?
Well, whatever names you gave to Al.
Did anyone give him
Not
a false
give
name?
fake names. I don't think
Nope.
we gave him fake names. So I guess, did Al put them in fake names himself, or did he just put them
No.
in our names?
Okay.
I think he just put them in your names.
So then, realizing this, Sybil will grab all of the invitations real quick and put hers, like, kind of stack them on top of each other. And as she, that is assuming everyone gives them to her. She's like, let me see them. I have a plan.
Jerry will
Okay,
hand his over.
I'm guessing that Rhino will have to stop playing the bagpipes at some point.
No. As she's walking up, she passes Rockman and she just leans over. She's like, play louder. As loud as you can and tell your party to kick it up.
I'll try and hype
to
up
play
the
as
party.
loud as I can, and then use thaumaturgy to cause earthquakes.
So yeah, there's like really minor tremors coming out from Rockna as he lays down some sick beats.
So as she gathers the invitations, she struts right up to the guard. She's like, "Here's my invitation and my parties. I would assume that. I'm sorry. I would assume that you should perhaps maybe let us in because this is getting really loud, and I am sorry for bothering you. And the faster we can get out of your hairs, the faster we can let you fine gentlemen proceed with your peaceful night."
They say, "Oh yes, that's quite kind of ye. Hand over your invitations. We'll let you in right quick."
she essentially like holds out the stack of them and has hers sitting right on top.
Yeah, it's right here. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. It's right here.
And she's not letting go of it. She's just showing him the stack of invitations and showing, like, flashing the 4 in front of him, but not like really letting him like look at it.
Interesting. Can you give me a persuasion check?
Yes, I can.
That's a 20.
Ooh.
So many 20s today.
Yes. So, with the combination of everything that's going on right now, the guard just puts his hand to his temple for a sec. He just kind of barely counts. Yeah, there's 4 rotations. There seems to be like 4 of them who are dressed well. So it's like, yeah, just go on in. Yeah, this bloody racket, stop.
Bloody what? I didn't hear that end. I think my thing.
The guard says, yes, go on in. Get this bloody racket to stop.
So she'll turn around to the rest of the party and she'll be like,
He says we can go in. As for all of the rest of you, he said play louder.
and then she'll like grab all of them and rush in.
Beautiful.
I'm fairly sure I'll have to stop playing bagpipes at this point.
You could give your bagpipes to somebody in the crowd and not have
They're
them
my
anymore.
bagpipes, yeah.
This could be the grand bagpipe finale.
The grand pipening.
Piping. Yeah. So
All right.
just
I will hand
briefly,
them off to a random person that seems to be able to play bagpipes.
Oh, really? So I think that if we can just flash forward several years, I think that like in Valdore after this night, there is a new tradition where every year, someone like a bard of great skill is chosen to lead like a marching band throughout the city of Valdore, playing the bagpipes.
I love it.
But like it's very important, right? Because at the end, he has to like bequeath this like revered ancient set of bagpipes to like the next year's bards, so that they may practice for the next year's march.
Oh, so it's the same set of bagpipes.
Yeah, it gets passed down like year after year from bard to bard. I think that's great.
Amazing.
I just want Rockman to take up a big bass drum that he has to carry around on his chest, and just walk down the street next year being doom, doom, doom.
Okay, so you guys are able to scoot in, leaving the din of the street party far behind. There's this long, like I said, like 200-foot causeway that goes up to the main house, and all along it, there are those magical lanterns floating and giving this sort of very diffuse, dreamlike quality to this like stretch of garden. On either side, the left and right of this long path, there are hedges, and there are gaps in the hedges that lead deeper into the side gardens. You can see there are lots of fancy noble people along this walkway, talking and sipping wine. That there are servants and waiters going around, flitting in and out of the gardens. You hear passionate giggles in the distance. You definitely get the sense that this is like the outside, right? People who haven't been going into the party hang out here. maybe until the rest of their friends arrive or something, right? The actual entrance making is up at the main building itself.
While we're walking, I'm gonna put on my mask.
I'd assumed everyone already had their stuff on.
Oh, Bastion definitely has
I
his
was
mask
playing the
on.
bagpipes. I cannot wear a mask while playing the bagpipes.
Well, if it's a half-face mask, you could.
God.
No, I have a specific mask. I put it in the chat.
Ah.
Cool.
Nice. Jerry will just, as they sort of walk in, he'll whisper to Sybil, "Hey, nice job with the invitations. I thought we were sunk for a second there. Working together has its perks."
She'll lean over and you can see the bottom half of her mouth, and she's just grinning, and she's just like, "Oh, I thought I was screwed too. I just figured might as well try something."
That's usually how it works.
So, what's the plan now that we're in here?
We have a plan.
Spread out once we're in, keep an eye out for De La Guerra, and see if we can't run a few questions past her.
Hey, Aaron, is there a balcony or anything?
There is. You can see that the main estate structure, there's a large balcony that's run the entire length of the second floor, and there's a smaller one on the third floor.
Can I see anything on the third floor?
From where you are, I don't know, make a perception check.
Ooh, I'm not perceptive. But let's see. No. I have super good eyes, but I'm just not being perceptive, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's that the lights here sort of create like a dim atmosphere, and you're still several hundred feet away from the main structure balconies, and there's just lots of people mingling on them. I think you make it a big ballroom on the second floor, behind some grand windows, but that's mostly it, I think.
But Aaron, I can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, to a distance of 120 feet.
Well, the balcony is 200 feet away, so there's that, I guess.
Fine, I'll move 60 more feet.
Okay. So you start moving up this causeway, this sort of front walkway, and you can see lots of the other nobles are giving you looks. They obviously don't recognize you, so they give you curious looks. And as you pass, you hear whispers trailing in your wake.
Whispers of what exactly?
People, well, I mean, they're whispers, so they are hard to hear. If you would like to try to listen to them, a perception check would be great. Yeah, with the 11, I think you catch a few words. You hear like some people talking about oh, they're dressed rather fancily. Like, haven't seen them before. I wonder who they are. And you hear another person say, "Oh my goodness, that mask! How interesting." And then you hear "Oh well, he's rather short. Isn't no good," and stuff like that. Just like commenting on these strange people they've not seen before.
Okay, well, I mean, I'd assume that we're not the only people here who people don't know, right?
Oh, true. It's just that you're the ones who are walking up currently, so you're the ones being.
Okay, I was worried because I was like, are we overdressed for a ball? Is that possible?
gala, perhaps?
Yes, you are short.
Grrr.
So we're heading up to sort of the like
Oh
I
my
was trying to
God.
follow along. We're heading up to the balcony, right? Like to sort of like get an eye out, or we're just sort of like help me sort of understand sort of where we're at like in this place again.
Certainly. So, passing through like the first set of gates, there's this big, long like driveway, basically like of cobblestone. There's hedges all along it. It's like 200 feet long. At the other end of this 200-foot like walkway, there sits the actual manor. So you are, and like on that manor, there's several balconies and stuff. So you're currently
Got it.
walking towards the house, basically.
Jerry just tries to walk like he belongs. Like this is no like he actually belong, even though he doesn't feel it in any way, shape, or form. He's trying to act it.
Bastion is definitely trying to recall some of the society and preparatory training from his youth, though it's been a few years.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was going to ask for a performance check. Yeah, Jerry, I think you recall some of what Sybil had told you previously.
Yo.
Ragna is performing the best.
Yeah,
Bastion
because I think like Ragna just, Ragna just doesn't give a shit in general. It's easy for him to just be confident and such.
Yes. Bastion developed some bad habits when he was a kid, and he's now emulating them as an adult.
So, I view it as Sybil
Nice.
is more worried about trying to straighten up like Jerry and just constantly be like, no, back straight, keep your shoulders high, chin high, and she looks over at Rock and she's like, okay, that's good. Bastion, what are you doing? No, stop slouching.
Actually, I was imagining that he was like, because there's that like formal walk, very measured, and I imagine that he would be like over exaggerating everything. Like his back would be like hyper arched and like chest way too puffed out, and like yes, I'm doing this correctly, and be extremely confident about it.
What are you doing? You look like you're trying to scare off a bear. Breathe.
I am
Breathe
breathing.
and walk.
This is what. And he will try and relax a little bit, kind of looking around at other people and being like, okay, I think I'm, starting to get the hang of this a bit.
So as we're walking up, he's like, I say, so do we have fake names, or are we just gonna roll with? I was thinking I would be Ivan Le Perrier.
Well, Ivan, the entire point of a masquerade is that you're not supposed to know who the person is, right?
Attempting not to laugh.
So we don't have. So like the whole thing is you don't know who the other people. I get it. Okay. That's good.
That's why we can. And Bastion is gonna like lean in and like lower his voice and be like, "That's why we're here, so that we can talk to De La Guerra without her knowing who it is."
I think I better understand the plan now.
So, yeah, no. So Sybil is just kind of like looking around as I assume we're nearing the front gate at this, or the front of the house at this point, right?
Yes.
So she's just kind of taking a deep breath. She's like, the mask, build confidence. Okay, all right. And as she's talking, she's just kind of like nervously like tapping her leg, and nothing like she's very clearly like, all right, time to go be social, Time to go be social. So we're looking for, and she'll spin back around the party. So we're looking for someone specific in a place where you're not supposed to know who those people are.
Trust me, I feel like this person likes to stand out a little bit.
So maybe.
I'll know her when I see her. Don't worry about that.
So maybe if we stand out, she'll find us.
Interesting. What did you have in mind?
I mean, I'm rather good at making distractions? Question mark, I guess, sort of, maybe? I can, whether it be purpose or not, I can make things go awry. Or maybe I can just make a show of things. Anything, really. Anything that'll draw the eyes of everybody and make them focus on me? Well, not so much on you.
I mean, we have at least somewhat of an idea of what she looks like. We've kind of bumped into her with a bit of force that one time. Well, I'm not sure you've ever seen the woman, so...
Nope. And that also works the other way. I don't think she's ever seen me. Or not in association with you, at least.
That's true.
Well, let's go outside, get the lay of the land, and then improvise from there.
Right. Improvisation. Is there a waiter with those glasses of wine walking by chance, Aaron?
Oh yes.
She's going to grab two and just one after the other, just down them and then put them right back on the same tray. Thank you. I'm going to need a lot more of those.
Make me a quick Constitution save.
What?
It's
Why?
not
though?
poison. Don't worry.
Oh.
It'll be really easy. Don't worry. It's gonna be really easy.
Unless, of course, you get a 4.
Yeah. So I think it just hits you just a little quicker than you had initially anticipated. You're not drunk. It's just the buzz. The buzz hits just a little sooner than you might have anticipated.
It's like the mimosas from this
and
morning.
and so just because of that, I feel like I want to reflect that a little bit. So get 5 temporary hit points.
All right. Gotcha.
As
5.
like your courage is built.
All right. So she is, assuming that is her cue, she is going to walk straight in.
All right. You approach the grand doors of Lord Krenel's estate. Flanking this magnificent entrance are 2 statues of dogs, both with chains around their necks. A rather ominous kind of front to this building, but Lord Krenel doesn't have the nicest reputation, so perhaps it makes sense. The doors are slightly open because it's a nice summer evening, and there is a fancy-looking butler at the door who extends a hand in greeting as you approach. And as you approach, she says, Good evening, humble guests of the Lord Krenel. He says, I hope you are enjoying the ambiance so far. Did you take a stroll in the gardens by chance?
I did. It was acceptable.
And she'll like bob her head.
Honestly, though, I prefer the company of others. The gardens are a little isolated, if you know what I mean. Is the party in full swing inside as well?
Yes. You shall find the ballroom quite full, but there are smaller chambers off to the sides if you wish a more discreet company.
Right.
Tell me.
Ballroom's full. Yeah, that's all I needed to hear. Thank you. Or whatever.
And she'll just walk forward past him.
And sir, we would like to pay our respects to the Lord of the Manor, Lord Krenel himself. Is he anywhere in the near vicinity?
And the servant says, Indeed, you shall find the Lord Krenel in the ballroom, no doubt. And he sort of whispers in, I hear he fancies the punch quite well. Might find him there.
And you look past him, and Sybil's grabbed another one of the things off of it and just downs it again.
So before you go in, Sybil, he'll sort of like step in front of you a bit and say, not too hasty. I must make it announced that you are in. Tell me, what should I announce you at? Have you any fanciful titles for tonight's masquerade ball?
And she'll kind of like ponder for a second. And she'll lean in and like very closely, and she'll just whisper.
You may announce me as the Lady of the Wind.
And she'll just kind of prop her nose up and be like,
that is enough.
Very
Does he
good.
look to the
indeed.
rest of us?
Oh, yes. Everyone must be announced as they enter the party.
that is, well, no, that's fine. She'll just like kind of look back at the rest of them and just kind of give you guys a, like, kind of pop her mask up and just kind of give you guys a wide smile.
Martin will shrug. The red hand of doom.
Oh, that's a little ominous, don't you think?
He'll shrug.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Would you announce me now, please? I grow impatient.
He lets Sybil and Rachna enter.
I will have no such thing as, like, Rock. I will be announced singularly.
My apologies, then. You must wait until you're friends, then. Tell me. He motions to Jerry and Bastion. What shall I call you?
You can see Bastion kind of think for a minute and say, You may announce me as the Lord of Storms.
Very good.
And you may announce me as Troll's Claw.
Troll's Claw. How mysterious.
There's a good story behind that one.
Oh, I should like to hear it. Later, of course. And he sort of winks when I'm off duty.
Jerry will wink back. He's not sure what the etiquette is, so he's just gonna mimic people.
Lovely. Okay, the butler will lead you in through a small little foyer in which there is nobody, and then he will open a door, and there's a there's a big sprawling like entrance chamber with the classic two big like wide staircases going up the side. There's these lovely sparkling marble floors with luxurious carpets all over them, and he's that house. There's like statues in the corner of like various saints and people in many wide-ranging costumes, and everybody sort of like stops their conversation to listen as the butler announces. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to our little soiree some most esteemed guests. We have in our midst this evening the Lady of the Wind."
Wait. So okay, so this explains it. This will have to work then. So as she kind of she'll tap her ring, and be like, "I'm supposed to be by myself. I guess I gotta make this work." She'll tap her ring, and she'll almost in the same puff of silver smoke that they saw earlier, she will take a step forward and appear right in the doorway. And as she does, she's going to flick her hand forward, and I'm gonna cast prestidigitation and just cause a puff of wind to just kind of flow through the door, and then with the other hand, she's going to quickly flip her hand around, and with running her fingers back and forth, she's just going to cause a small, essentially a spark show, and then she's going to snap, and the spark show is going to explode into a set of dancing lights, and they're going to swirl around her, and she's going to kind of do a flourish and then bow. And as she bows, she's going to stand up, look around, and then spin back on the servant and be like, "And I was asked to be introduced singularly, was I not?" And she'll just raise her voice.
The servant just sort of looks aghast, and he's like, "Well, you were. I apologize for any misunderstandings. I was quite sure that I introduced you by yourself, but..."
And she will look at him again. "Singularly, meaning alone. Do you know what that means?"
And the butler looks at his obvious gaffe. He sort of misunderstood what he wanted, and he says, "Oh, my gravest apologies, madam. I am but a humble servant, worthy of not even the underside of your lovely shoes."
And she'll wave, kind of wave him away. And as this is happening, who would be at the back of the rest of the group?
I mean, one of the guys.
No, one of the rest of the group. Who would be at the back of the I didn't know.
I don't know.
Jerry would definitely not be wanting to, like, he would not be feeling comfortable about this situation, so he would probably be at the back if anybody was.
That works. I imagined Bastion in the middle.
Would Rockton be at the front then?
Apparently.
Okay, so behind, at the very, like, whoever's at the back of Jerry, you'd hear behind you.
This is your time to make a sneak in if you're gonna. Otherwise, you're gonna get a bit of a showman's entrance.
And then nothing.
What the fuck? So I have to recover for a second. Okay. Jerry would sort of whirl around, and then at that he would sort of take the cue, and he is going to use his I feel like we could. I feel like we should just play it above board, and
It's just this, like, it's a distraction. That's all it is.
right. So like this is the time to slip away. If there's a time to like slip away and check out the place.
If you guys are gonna slip away, it's the initial, like, her initial, like, entrance. I assume that because while this is going on, she's not like abusively like hounding him, but she is scolding him. So I assume while that's going on, I assume like you can hear in the background just rabble, 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 and then like her throwing the noble tantrum while the poor servant is just. I assume, unless Aaron was gonna have something happen, I assume that's what that is going on.
So I'm of two minds about it, because I sort of want us to like stick together and try and like us be your entourage and just make the thing sort of like make it that we just try and like don't try and sneak around. But at the same time, I do think it's like it's an opportunity for us to sort of like sneak away and try and explore unimpeded. But we've made it this far, just sort of like showboating. So I feel like maybe like a little bit more showboating we can get away with. I don't know. What does everybody else think?
All right.
Ragnar is not sneaky. He is going in basically same way as Sybil.
Well, I didn't expect you guys to honestly like shadowly sneak. I just expected like you guys to walk past. But once she realizes that her making her presence known was enough, she just kind of waves at him. She's like, fine, I made my entrance. I guess that's all that matters. And then she'll just storm off.
Hey, that's my title.
So the butler announcer guy, he is looking very red in the face, very ashamed. But as soon as the Lady of the Wind sort of storms off, he just sort of like straightens himself up again, like adjusts his like frilly shirt, and sort of clears his throat again, and says, and also announcing, we have in our midst, ladies and gentlemen, the mighty and the fearful Red Hand of Doom.
The little waiver. Okay, Ragnar is going to basically march out, and before he gets to the doorway, he's going to hold out his hand slightly, and it's going to catch fire. And he's going to stop in the doorway and slowly raise his hand. As he does, tremors are going to shake through the room, and the lights are going to flicker.
You hear gasps throughout this sort of like entrance throughout this entrance hall, and the lights flicker and oh my goodness. But you can tell it's like a playful sort of like they want to be scared for fun, kind of. That's what they're getting out of it anyway. And when your display ends, there's like a small little like clap that goes through.
And he's just going to walk in after that.
Excellent. Next, the butler will say, "Oh, my goodness! It is quite an honor to have such a mysterious and vengeful figure in our midst. But not to be outdone, ladies and gentlemen, we are thankful to have at our soiree this evening the Lord of Storm."
Just before walking out, Bastion is going to like sigh, roll his eyes, and right as he says storms, he's gonna twiddle his fingers, cast prestidigitation, and have the sound of like rolling thunder like undercut his words and kind of, you know, like cut off like the very trailing end of his words by crescendoing a little bit as Bastion like walks out as like regally as he is able, and just, you know, like very calmly walks down the stairs.
Yeah, the room gives another like gasp at that, and you see a couple noble ladies with like big fans that are like fanning themselves and sort of giggling and looking at you as you do this. The crowd is like impressed. It's not the sort of like, you know, like the spookiness and mysteriousness of like the Red Hand of Doom, but it's like like Lord of Storms, like fancy. And then the butler will say, "And last but certainly not least, in the recent arrivals to tonight's festivities, we have the one, the only Troll's Claw."
And sort of a little bit anticlimactically, Jerry's gonna just stand at the top and scan the crowd for a second, and he is looking for someone in the ballroom, and I'm using the inspiration.
So do you want to go with the 16?
Yes, please.
All right. So, scanning around the ballroom, you see at the top of the stairs, leading to the second floor, you see a figure. They are wearing a rather like modest sort of like green doublet with like a dress sort of underneath, and they have what appears to be some sort of like lizard mask on, but the sort of like almost pitch black hair that comes out the back, and the general swagger with which they hold themselves. Jerry is quite certain that this figure is Carmen de la Guerra. She doesn't seem to be paying much attention to the new arrivals, however, and very soon after seeing you all come in, she sort of disappears back into the crowd and goes back into the ballroom.
Jerry will just go up to Bastion and Rachna and say, "I saw her. She's here."
Fantastic. So, do we go as a united front, or shall we try and pick this one apart piece by piece?
Personally, I would prefer United.
And is Sybil still standing off to the side, sort of pretending to be on sort of her own? How she like huffed off? I imagine like Sybil sort of like huffed into like a separate direction than us.
Yes, she was making her way surprisingly to the like punch table to get a angry like a drink. Like I just got like a pissed. I'm pissed drink kind of. You know.
On the way, Sybil, you are met by a tall fellow who comes striding toward you, wearing a black dog mask. He seems to be striding with some amount of urgency, and he sort of stops in front of you and says, "My dear lady, Lady of the Wind, you were introduced as, I believe. I heard there was some commotion with the servants. Is everything all right?"
She'll take a drink of her Chardonnay, and she'll just kind of set it down. If you can call impotence a all right situation, I was specifically requested to be introduced singularly. Now to you, my dear sir, I'd assume, since you are asking me of your servant, our dear host, and she'll give a very she'll give a polite curtsy.
The dog masked figure just sort of like nods.
Now, I'd assume that you'd understand what I meant, that I wished to be introduced alone, so that all eyes may be on me. Instead, he proceeds to introduce me first in a group of 4. Huh. And she'll take another sip. I've never.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. The masked figure in front of you says, "Yes, I understand the great discomfort this must have caused you, and it is entirely unacceptable. I shall have him replaced at once."
Thank you. And she'll smile. She's like, no.
She'll lean in, kind of like she might be playing up she might have had she's playing the part of I've had too much to drink.
May I ask what your name is, sir? And not the mask's name. Your name.
Ha 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 ha. Mayhaps we shall know each other better after a few more beverages, one might say. For now, you may call me the Master of Hounds.
Of course. Master of Hounds. Dear Lord Kreml, but that's no fun if I know your name. So I will suit for the Master of Hounds.
And she'll smile. She'll do a quick hip dip, and then she'll kind of saunter away while looking over her shoulder.
Okay. Yeah, you see the Master of Hounds sort of like give you a little look as you go, but then with a quick efficiency turns and walks briskly to talk to one of the nearby guards, and he gesticulates with his hands, quickly and violently towards the front door. Moments later, those at the front door just see a pair of guards approach the servant and usher him away with, all due haste and force.
Oh God, I feel bad. I just figured, but I had to play the part. No.
I mean, good cop, bad cop. We could free this guy, and Jerry's wondering how to play this situation to his advantage right now. Some of his street thuggery is coming up. Some of the plans he might have had back in the gang are coming up to his head right now.
Sybil doesn't know it. She is winging it entirely at every step of the way, and she's just like, oh no, okay. So she's playing up this part, and then as soon as she walks away, she's drinking, and she's just like, oh no, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I doing this? What am I doing? Why am I here? Oh no. Having a legitimate anxiety attack the whole time.
Oh no. So I think if maybe you guys want to plan sort of the general modus operandi of what you will be doing, and then we can call it for tonight.
Well, I'm guessing we're going to the ballroom.
Yeah, that's where Sybil's making her way. I assume that we would have, the original plan was for me to make a distraction, me to kind of give you guys time to find them, and then meet up either at the base of the stairs leading to the ballroom or in the actual ballroom itself. And then once we met up, we have no idea what we do at that point.
See, I think the whole thing with his butler, basically being thrown out is the perfect opportunity for us. Because who else is going to know more dirt about what's going on with Lord Krenel than the person that manages his household?
Mm-hmm. So maybe we should keep tabs on him. But right now we're here for De La Guerta. Krenel isn't necessarily he is kind of important to the whole thing, but Krenel's his own separate problem while being intertwined with De La Guerta. But De La Guerta's here, so I assume that we'd probably go after her.
Yep.
Or if one of you want to split off and find the butler, you could get dirt on him and then hold that over Krenel's head if something happens, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, De La Guerta is going to know... I mean, she might not know Jerry from afar because of the costume and the mask, but she's probably going to know Jerry if he comes close to her. So maybe, and I mean, Rachna's wearing a cape, but he is he's wearing the same armor he's been wearing.
No, Rachna recently changed armor. She hasn't seen him in his new armor.
Oh, that's right. Were you in the new armor when the...
No, because he changed armor after the slave pits, and we ran into her while we were planning to get into the slave pits, right?
Yeah.
No, we also ran into assassins afterwards.
Yeah, but I don't think the assassins are going to explain exactly. It's oh yeah, also this guy that was in the other armor is now in this armor.
That they are also all dead.
That's true.
Well, except for that one that got arrested.
All those ones that got arrested. True.
So, I mean, we could, as hesitant as I am to say it, we could split the party and go off and try and do the two separate things, or we could just stick together and just try and make it work.
I think it would be best to stick together with Carmen De La Guerta.
Yeah, well, let me also ask Jerry something. Do you think Jerry could be convinced to, when he's so close to Carmen De La Guerta, do you think he could even be convinced to go off and do something else that has nothing to do with her?
Well, he's worried that like he's been in the gang for a long time, and I think like the thing that has him worried is seeing, like, it seems like Lord Krenel is working with one of the actual gangs, and it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, but I like the way I imagined it is like the there was like corruption going on, but it wasn't really, it didn't seem like anybody was like the authorities ever really like picked a side per se. But it seems like it's like turned a corner where they definitely are favoring her over the other gangs in the city.
I think that is a sound conclusion for Jerry to come to.
So Jerry is of like, that's sort of like partly going here. It's not just it is about De La Guerra, but it's also about like, well, what's going on that all of a sudden De La Guerra has sort of the backing of one of the major figures in government behind her as well. Like what is that? How did that happen?
We could also do something else. And this just kind of thought about it. We're in a very open public place, right? And I assume that though everyone here is probably snobby and rich, not everyone here is probably corrupt, or at least in the same branch of corruption as another branch. Especially since like Sybil's family and stuff would partake in like galas and stuff. So there's got to be at least good people here and stuff. So I assume that they can't. It's not like the literal legion of supervillains here at this gala or the masquerade.
I think that's also a fair conclusion to come to.
So what if Jerry just unmasked himself and straight up just accused De La Guerta and Krenel at the same time of being in cahoots?
I guess we'd want evidence, right? Accused.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like,
but like if we get evidence, then I think we
Sacre bleu.
Like if we're able to get evidence, and maybe that's where we use the situation to our advantage, that just sort of organically came out of nowhere, of somebody really close to Krenel maybe be willing to spill some dirt, or give us the location of some actual dirt on this guy.
So
and
what
on De La Guerra.
So what I'm hearing is that as our glorious leader put it, our modus operandi is to start out by gathering some information kind of individually, and then meet back up in like 10, 20, 30 minutes, and then go confront De La Guerra and Krenel with our new information, or come up with a new plan in light of our new information.
Corrals, figure out, get the lay of the land, and then literally just
showdown.
Yep.
I don't know about showdown. Like, honestly,
I am prepared to throw a boot at them.
yeah, but honestly, like, if you can use public, like, publicity against someone, while yes, this may protect like them as from a straight up assassin, like being so public and being all this, if you straight up declare that someone has like, hey, you murdered so and so, you're also the leader of this huge gang and you're in cahoots, yelling that in front of people will at least start mutterings and like will start rumors at the very least.
True.
And then that alone would hurt. That would make people skeptical to do business with people. That would ruin them in other ways outside of them being like. So otherwise, it's like, because I mean, if you just showed up on someone's doorstep and were like, "Hey, you killed this person, let's fight," then they could spin it anyways. But if you yell this out, this random like accusation at them in this middle of 100 pairs of ears, then it's going to get 100 of those 100 people are going to mutter to 100 other people that
it's gonna spread. So you may not be able to you may not get to kill her, but at the very least, if the Velvet Guard doesn't do something, then they're defamed, and then by extension, everyone who's over the Velvet Guard is suddenly put into the sights of, yeah. So honestly, if we could do that, it would do way more harm to them than walking in here and killing them.
Well, corruption is a tricky thing because it's like, and you see that in American politics too, where it's like, if you can create distractions and propagandize stuff any way you like, So it's like, but you're right, like having it be said in like the middle of a room of influential people is a good start. But then what if they just arrest us and then then the trial is rigged against us?
Well, I am prepared to throw a boot at someone.
The fun thing about corrupt people being surrounding themselves in corrupt people is every corrupt person is ready to jump on the next corrupt person to climb their way up. So we may not make a groundbreaking revivification of the city and morals, but we will at least get them off or put them on the chopping block so that someone else can be like, maybe someone else is like, oh, well, I want to climb the ladder. I'm going to look into this.
Yeah. So I like the try and get some dirt and then make a public accusation. I'm on board with that plan.
Same.
All right, very good. We shall, next time we convene, we shall explore the den of hounds and vipers that you find yourself in now.
I had no idea the things that would happen this session that would happen. It took a real fun turn, guys.
Yeah. I am sorry.
Go for it.
Bagpipes.
I'm sorry, guys. It was one of those things. It's like, well, okay. So I can at least explain her reasoning for running off and doing that out of sight. Most of it was explained in character. She honestly, she doesn't know you guys super well. She's only known you guys for about 3 days, and you guys have almost gotten her killed multiple times. And she didn't know how Bastion or anyone would react, seeing how much more different she is. So it's just like it was one of those things. Just like, I would rather run than face this weird line of questioning that's probably going to happen. So that was part of that. And then also her journal was super important to her, and you guys were not leaving her alone, so she couldn't read it there.
Sure.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. I'm just sitting there thinking, it's just like, yo, Bastion's ass turned into potatoes, like in front of you, day one. What do you got? Hit me.
Well, there's stuff. It's not like, because again, she's not fully aware of all of it.
I'm not sure.
All right, Alexa, let's go.
Well, I doubt her eyes are going to turn in potatoes.
Her eyes are just going to catch on fire.
Rat nests do that all the time.
Yeah, but hers are actually going to catch on fire, not be magic illusions. I guess they're technically magic, but yours are illusions. Mine aren't.
Fair.
I don't think they're illusions.
Yeah, no, prestidigitation or whatever, thaumaturgy.
Thaumaturgy.
Yeah, I think it's an illusion, isn't it?
I think it like makes
it's
it
a random
real.
magical
I
effect.
think so. Yeah, it makes like tiny fires. You can like actually light stuff on fire with it, I think.
Oh, well, all right, never mind then.
That's the way I've always ruled it. I could be wrong, I guess, but
I didn't know.
It's a minor wonder, not an illusion.
Is that thaumaturgy? I thought that was prestidigitation that did the minor wonder.
I don't know, to be honest, but
Actually,
makes...
each class has their own different one, like Druidcraft, prestidigitation, and thaumaturgy.
Gotcha.
Right.
I am excited. We got the cool bagpipe scene. We got the Bash. Oh god, we got the Bastion getting confronted by a shopkeeper about his past, who
Yeah.
apparently doesn't know that the house imploded.
I mean, like, I feel like it was one of those things that was in the news for like a couple days, and then people kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
It shows how much he cared about his family, or cares about Bastion's family. He just liked the money. He was an asshole. I want to go take all his money. I'm gonna reincarnate. I'm gonna reincarnate Faint for one session just so I can go steal all this stuff from the shop.
Faint's just like in the crate on the airship is like, I sense a disturbance. I must go back.
Fuck this person in particular.
Golly.
Yeah, I like this episode. This session, everyone kind of had their own chance to shine, which I really love.
I love Jerry being a musketeer now. Or just like a Spanish Inquisitor.
Spanish Inquisitor, there you go.
And you're
it's
about to
ludicrous.
accuse someone.
Perfect.
Am I
no.
wearing gloves?
Of course you are.
Oh yeah, dear God,
If
you
I
have to
am
be able
wearing...
to slap someone with it.
So yes, then I can do the French slap and demand satisfaction.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. That was great, guys.
Oh yeah, this is great as always.
All right,
always
so yeah, we'll schedule the next session for whenever we're all free.
Yep.
All right, guys, have a good
Cool.
night.
All right, you too.
Yeah,
Bye.
Bye bye, guys.
Hey.
See ya.
All right, have a good night, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and get some sleep. Stand up, stretch, get some water. Have a good night.